Hello everyone and welcome to my morning report analysis videos on Monday 6th of August with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec Markets. We've got a fairly sort of dollar positive marginally but mostly sterling negative day today on the forex markets, on the majors, and that's come as just continued politics dominate sterling moves. You got the Trade Secretary for the UK over the weekend suggesting that the potential for a no-deal Brexit was up at 60%. I mean, that is, there's different ways of looking at that. Is it a trading negotiation tactic? Is it a reality? Yeah, whatever. To be honest, the markets are selling sterling lower. It seems to be a consistent theme. Bank of England's hiking, but not really. One a year is not really a hiking cycle, and trade Brexit fears are a problem for sterling. So subsequently, underperformance continues, as you can see here. We've also got dollar positivity. Dollar ticked a little bit higher this morning. It sort of had a bit of a fluctuating day on Friday, but one factor that is helping the dollar higher is this Chinese yuan, which continues to weaken, and that comes dollar strength comes despite the fact that yields are actually still sort of coming back again on both sort of 2-year and 10-year on the treasuries, and that sort of shouldn't really help the dollar all that much, but that weakening yuan really does sort of seem to sort of play into dollar strength at the moment. That's what we are seeing. We had a positive session on Wall Street on Friday, but the futures are slightly lower, and we've seen sort of equity markets in Europe just slipping back a touch. DAX is an interesting one. I've got analysis of the DAX on the website. Whereby it sort of seems to be taking a little bit of a more of a negative bias now suddenly. But yeah, it's interesting that we are seeing these moves on the DAX today. No data today. No data to get interested in pretty much at all. Where's my data? Anyway, so yeah, so my chart today is Euro Yen. Now Euro Yen's an interesting one, isn't it? It had this recovery phase, May, June, July. But that recovery phase is basically back to this sort of trading band, I'm going to call it, between 131 and 132. How many times has the market sort of turned around in that area over the last year? Really, really important pivot band. And again, 132 was hit as a figure, pretty much. Then 131 was hit as a figure, pretty much. So the market is certainly paying attention to those levels, and now since then the market's formed 3 bear candles, dropped below the low, and broken the uptrend. And now look at this pivot, this near-term pivot around the sort of 128.50 area seems to be in play. Look how many times it's turned around on that level, or thereabouts in the last couple of months. So breaking on a closing basis below that, I would suggest is a signal for further correction. You'd then bring in these sort of June, July, late June, July lows coming into play, 126.60, 127.10, and I think a retest of those levels would be seen. But if you look also on the hourly chart, and if I zoom back, is that sort of a head and shoulders top pattern that you can see there? Possibly, but yeah, it's sort of more of a fact that it's turning round the run of higher lows, and now starting to form lower highs and lower lows, and then you'd see the correction back towards 27.10. Now the momentum indicators are turning corrective, although not decisively yet. The RSI is still around that 40 level. MACD lines are accelerating lower, stochastics also. So it really does seem as though rallies are a chance to sell now. And you look on the hourly chart again, you've got this resistance band around about that 29 area, 129, 129.10, up towards 129.60. That's sort of ideal, I suppose, near-term sell zone. And I think any recovery back into there is a chance to sell, as I said. So initial resistance today, 28.75, then 29 figure. But yeah, I think any rebound is a chance to sell, certainly with the configuration on the momentum indicators that we are now getting. So that's what I'd be looking for there. So with that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I'll speak to you later.